In our video for this week, we will go over some of the well-known transgender soldiers that, although the strict rules, they managed to make it into the army. Albert Cashier.
Albert DJ Cashier, born December 25, 1843, was an Irish transgender soldier who served in the Union Army during the American Civil War. Cashier adopted the identity of a man before enlisting, and maintained it for most of the remainder of her life. She became famous as one of a number of women soldiers who served as men during the Civil War. The regiment was part of the Army of the Tennessee under Ulysses S. Grant and fought in approximately 40 battles, including the siege at Vicksburg. This campaign proved to be a challenge for Cashier, as she was captured while performing reconnaissance. Cashier managed to escape, however, and make her way back to the regiment. After the Battle of Vicksburg, in June 1863, Cashier contracted chronic diarrhea and entered a military hospital. Somehow, she evaded detection. Albert Cashier died on October 10, 1915. She was buried in the uniform she had kept intact all those years, and she was given an official Grand Army of the Republic funerary service, and was buried with full military honors. The novel My Last Skirt, by Linda Dorrant, is based on her life. Cashier's house has been restored in Sonman.
Abigail Austin.
Abigail Austin, previously known as Jan Hamilton, born December 8, 1964, is the first officer in the British Army to complete gender reassignment from male to female. Austin was born in Belfast, Northern Ireland. She grew up in Stonehaven, 15 miles, 24 kilometers, south of Aberdeen, in the northeast of Scotland. Austin joined as an officer in the Royal Irish Rangers in 1983, serving in Northern Ireland. She retrained as a TV cameraman in 1987, working for Scottish television. Her military background saw her dispatched to war zones covering the Gulf War I, the civil wars in Angola and Afghanistan, and the conflict in Bosnia. During 1995, Austin rejoined the Army. As an overage candidate, she first joined the Territorial Army and then the Regular Army. She joined the Parachute Regiment in 2002, having already passed the stringent selection process at age 35, and went on to attend All Arms Commando Course and Elements of Special Forces selection with 22 SAS, becoming a combat survival and a physical training instructor. Austin was the subject of a documentary on Channel 4, UK, in March 2008 entitled Sex Change Soldier.
Chelsea Manning.
Chelsea Elizabeth Manning is a former United States Army soldier who was convicted by court-martial in July 2013, of violations of the Espionage Act and other offenses, after disclosing to WikiLeaks nearly 750,000 classified, or unclassified but sensitive, military and diplomatic documents. Manning is a trans woman who, in a statement the day after sentencing, said she had a female gender identity since childhood, wanted to be known as Chelsea, and desired to begin hormone replacement therapy. In February 2015, Catherine Viner, editor-in-chief of Guardian US, announced that Manning had joined The Guardian as a contributing opinion writer on war, gender, and freedom of information. Manning was ultimately charged with 22 offenses, including aiding the enemy, which was the most serious charge and could have resulted in a death sentence. On July 30, she was convicted of 17 of the original charges and amended versions of 4 others, but was acquitted of aiding the enemy. She was sentenced to serve a 35-year sentence at the maximum security U.S. disciplinary barracks at Fort Leavenworth. Reaction to Manning's disclosures, arrest, and sentence was mixed. Her biographer, Denver Nix, writes that the leaked diplomatic cables were seen by some, but disputed by others, as a catalyst for the Arab Spring that began in December 2010, and that she was viewed by some as a 21st-century Tiananmen Square tank man and by others as an embittered traitor.
Caroline Page.
Flight Lieutenant Caroline Page, born 1959, was the first transgender officer to serve openly in the UK Armed Forces. Before her transition in 1999, she served in the Cold War intercepting Soviet bomber planes, and was involved in the Gulf War and Bosnia conflict. She switched to battlefield helicopters in 1992 and flew several operational tours post-transition, including Bosnia, Iraq, and Afghanistan, before her retirement from the military in November 2014. Carolyn developed an interest in aviation as a teenager and achieved an RAF flying scholarship leading to a private pilot's license when she was 17. Carolyn flew 1,500 hours on F-4 aircraft and intercepted 34 Soviet long-range bomber aircraft when on quick reaction alert, QRA. During the Cold War, she also completed tours providing air defense in the Falkland Islands. In 1995 she joined the UN Anglo-French Rapid Reaction Force (RAFOR) team operating from Kajseljac, Bosnia, where she became responsible for the coordination and safe routing of UN helicopter operations within Bosnia. She remained in Bosnia with NATO forces when they took on responsibility following the ceasefire. In her final 2 years of service she also helped ROATO with the development and running of the European Defence Agency (EDA) helicopter tactics course, instructed crews on the first 2 of these courses and advised EDA project teams on future platform protection requirements for rotary wing aircraft. Carolyn served in the RAF for 35 years and remained flying in 34 of them. She completed 17 operational tours.
Joanne Wingate.
Joanne Louise Wingate, born in 1961, is the first publicly known transsexual soldier to transition, change sex and continue to serve in the post-Cold War British Army. Jo started her transition in August 1996 and eventually had her gender reassignment at the end of January 2000. Only a few months after her MTF transition the Army terminated her service in May 2003, effectively firing her. Joanne Wingate served in Falklands War, Germany, Gulf War, Kosovo, Bosnia, and Northern Ireland with the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers and was also part of the Army boxing team, Army and British ski bike team. She was the first person in the service, and it is believed serving soldier in any country, to openly change gender and also take the Ministry of Defence to an employment tribunal for discrimination in 2003. Given that the Gender Recognition Act was first signed into law in 2004, she was legally, under old legal British precedents, considered male, and subsequently lost her case. In 2003 an article about her with headline Transsexual Loses Case and a report about Petra Henderson, Royal Signals, with title Sex Swap Soldier Speaks Out appeared on page 3 of the British Army's daily newspaper.
That was it for this week's video. Do you know any other transgender soldiers we didn't mention? Until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe for weekly amazing videos.